Skeletons of the Marital Closet by Tang. Chapter 1941. Shawn lowered his head, whispering in her ear, "What's going on? Every time I kiss you, do you not know how your lips look afterward?" Before Gale could respond, he continued, "I almost forgot, it's normal you don't know, you can't see yourself, it's not like you rush to the mirror every time." Gale blinked. She did not have time to dwell on Shawn's teasing, her mind was filled with the idea of them kissing. Was that not something only couples do? "Are you saying she's been kissed? Are you sure? Really?" "It was just her and Aurum in the lounge," Gale asked. Surely it could not be the doctor. That was too far-fetched. "I can confirm, yes, I've kissed you so many times and seen you up close. Do you think I wouldn't know?" "Gale, I see clearer than you," Shawn said. Gale clapped her hands. "Well, this is good news, though. Ivy seemed to be avoiding me just now. Why? You can just ask her directly later." "No need to guess," Shawn advised. "Yeah, but she's gone to the interview area. It'll take a while. Gale looked at Shawn. "Can I ask Aurum?" She was seeking his opinion. After all, her relationship with him was too delicate for a one-on-one meeting. Before Shawn could respond, Aurum asked, "Ask me what?" Gale turned around. Aurum was walking over, with a smile on his face and a spring in his step. Gale felt like he was himself again. "You can just come out with it. No need to beat around the bush. I know what you want to ask," Aurum said. Gale felt a bit embarrassed. She scratched her head. "You knew I was eavesdropping outside the door, didn't you?" "Yes. You've been trying to match me and Ivy." "Well, I wanted to check on your injury, but then I overheard your conversation and I couldn't help but to listen in. I didn't hear the most important part." "Gale, you missed the most important part." "I missed it. Well, she arrived just in time, and she listened from start to finish. Though she accidentally barged in and interrupted their conversation." "Yes, technically you missed it." Aurum nodded. "Just now, Ivy and I confirmed we'd like to date." Gale almost jumped up. "So fast? Just now? In such a short time?" "Technically, I confessed to her, and after considering it seriously, she accepted me. With her consent, we are officially together now." No wonder Shawn said Ivy looked like she was kissed. A romantic confession, being together, holding hands, hugging, would kissing not be natural then? Gale was somewhat caught off guard. She vaguely felt there was something between the two, and maybe they could get together today, but it was just her fantasizing. She did not expect things to progress so quickly. Chapter 1942. Gale had been most anxious for their relationship, but she suddenly did not know how to react. "Congratulations." It took her a moment to gather herself, then she hastily added, "I always told you that the future holds infinite possibilities. You're bound to meet the right person." Aurum just smiled. He glanced at Shawn. Aurum had more to say but hesitated. Perhaps it was because Shawn was present. How could Shawn leave? He would never allow Aurum and Gale to be alone together. Just as the atmosphere became awkward and tense, a cell phone rang. Shawn glanced at his phone, seeing it was for him. "I'll take this call." He patted Gale's head and walked away. It was not far, and he could still see what was happening. This allowed Aurum and Gale to have some space for conversation while he could still observe their every move. "Do you have something to say? Maybe it's not convenient with Shawn being here earlier. It's actually okay if he hears, though with him around, there are some things I find hard to say." Gale looked at him. "I'm not your person. Natalie isn't a qualified wife for you and your family, but you eventually met Ivy. Aurum, she's truly a very good girl. She is excellent, beautiful and capable, with a decent character and upbringing. I think you can put aside that incident." Since Aurum had confessed on his own initiative, it indicated he did not care about Ivy's past. Love could solve everything. "Yes, I don't care about her past. I value our future together. Besides, she was innocently dragged into that situation. She's also a victim." Gale asked, "Do you hate Paul?" Aurum sighed. "Gale, many things in this world can't be described with love or hate. There's no absolute right or wrong. Paul is despicable. He could have prevented all this from happening, but he became the perpetrator. Anyway, the deed is done. Even if Paul begs for forgiveness with his life, it won't change anything. And the contrary, the movie will stop filming, and the money I invested will go to waste. Not just me, but everyone in the crew will have wasted all their efforts. Moreover, Ivy chose to continue filming this movie. I believe her views align with mine," Aurum continued. Gale nodded. "Yes, Aurum, I'll only ask you this once. I won't bring up the matter again from now on. I'll completely forget it, and I hope you and Ivy can also erase it from your minds completely. I sincerely wish you and Ivy to be together soon." "Okay, let's not bring it up. It's all in the past." Aurum's response was candid and natural. His open-mindedness and ease made Gale feel petty. After some thought she added, "As for you and me, I want to tell you that night we were both unconscious, so nothing happened between us." She stated it as a fact, without any doubt. She did not plan to tell Orem about it. It would have been better to wait until the truth was exposed. However, Gale thought that since Orem and Ivy were together now, it would be better to clear some things up. It would prevent Orem from feeling guilty. Gale did not notice the change in Orem's expression. Chapter 1943. It was just for a moment. He regained his composure immediately. Orem exclaimed in surprise, "Did we actually do anything?" "Gale, are you sure?" "I'm sure, and so is Shawn." "Have you found evidence?" "I've been busy with the company and the movie shoot." "Did I miss any important updates?" Orem asked. Gale shook her head. "We haven't found evidence yet, just some clues. We repaired a surveillance camera. Considering the timing, plus the fact that we were both drugged, the probability of us having a relationship is very low, it is almost non-existent." It sounded like she believed it was not possible at all, and even if something did happen, it would only be undressing. Orem pursed his lips, remaining silent. "Once we have sufficient evidence, I'll let you know." Gale sighed. "I really hope you and Ivy can be together." "Orem, it's time for you to settle down." "I mean, did you really want Joshua to introduce a girlfriend to you?" she joked, lightening the mood. Orem smiled. "Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Joshua and Nicole. He's occupied with school and homework. He is mischievous, but he still cares about you, asking about you every now and then." "If I told him you had a girlfriend now, I wonder how he'd react," Gale said. "He won't need to worry about my private life anymore." "Yeah," Orem's hand hung by his side. He gripped his fists and then released it. However, he could not suppress the emotions in his heart, so he hid his tightly clenched fist in his pockets. "Gale, there's one more thing I wanted to apologize for. But you mentioned that you may have some evidence that can prove nothing happened between us, so I don't need to say it anymore." Orem spoke up. "Apologize?" "Yeah, I told you I would leave Sea City to no longer be involved in your life, so as to take away that pain and dreadful memory from that night. But now, it seems like I don't have to go." "Ah, that was it," Gale earnestly replied. "I never really wanted you to leave. Leaving everything in this city behind would take so much courage and determination. Orem should not leave like this. I can't leave anymore. I can hand over the company to someone else, put my career on hold, but I now have someone I care about deeply. I'm no longer alone, I have someone who needs me," Orem replied. This was Orem's legitimate reason. He played the leaving Sea City card, earning Gale's guilt and forgiveness. Now that the card was played, he could not just leave it there. Otherwise, Gale would think he was only saying he would leave, never actually intending to do so, and his image in her mind would be tarnished. Ivy turned out to be a valuable pawn for Orem. He could not just use her once. He had to leverage it. Now, Orem and Ivy were a couple. With them being together, he could stay on and even get Gale's blessing. Chapter 1944. Sure enough, Gale smiled happily. "Yes, you can't just leave when you feel like it. With Ivy around, you can't bear to leave." "I wouldn't." Orem shook his head. "If it weren't for having something to tell you, I would have accompanied her to the interview and then watched her from afar. If you were there, she'd be distracted, unable to answer the reporter's questions properly, all flustered and absent-minded." "No, Ivy wouldn't be like that. When she's working, she works hard. In private, she enjoys life to the fullest. She's a very clear-headed person, she has goals, and knows how to work hard. I understand her, that's one of the reasons why I like her." That was true. Ivy was not the type to be distracted by romance. She was very independent and assertive. Such a woman naturally attracted a man as excellent as Orem. "Yes, you both understand each other very well. It's not my place to meddle. I don't want to worry about it anymore. Just remember, Orem, I have always hoped you find happiness," Gale replied. "Thank you." Gale's eyes sparkled. Up until this moment she had not doubted Orem at all. She did not even question or remember that he was in love with her, and Natalie had only recently passed away. How could he suddenly have feelings for Ivy after she appeared? She thought, perhaps love has its own way. When the right person appears, it will be love at first sight for a lifetime. He looked into her eyes, held her gaze for a few seconds, then looked away. He still could not look Gale in the eye openly. She was too pure and innocent. Was it because she trusted him too much? Or because Shawn had always protected her so well? Their relationship was not shaken by the photos of Shawn and Ivy, spending the night in the motel. What Orem saw was Shawn and Gale growing more affectionate, becoming more attuned to each other, looking every bit the married couple they were. When the photos were leaked, did not Gale ever question Shawn? After the night in the motel, did not Shawn ever get mad at Gale? Was their relationship so strong? How could they possibly part ways? Could it only be through death? With that thought, a murderous glint flashed in his eyes. Shawn would have to die. Orum's heart grew colder, and for a moment he did not conceal his expression. When he raised his eyes, they met Shawn's gaze directly. Shawn smiled. He exuded confidence, a powerful aura, insight into everything, qualities that Orum could not match. Orum also realized that Shawn saw through all his raw expressions. So what? He and Shawn were on the verge of tearing their masks off. They knew each other's intentions. Shawn wanted to catch him in the act and expose it, while Orum was trying every means to win Gale over. In the end, the last man standing wins. Chapter 1945. Finished with your call? Gale trotted over to Shawn. Such good timing, I just finished mine too. Her arrival conveniently interrupted the eye contact between Orum and Shawn. Let's go, it's time to head home. Staying here any longer will only cause trouble, Shawn said, wrapping his arm around her waist. Absolutely. Today's trip was totally worth it. Gale turned around, waved to Orum and said, We're leaving now, take care of your injuries. Well hey, you have someone to care for you now. Ivy will always be there for you. Bye! Goodbye. As they were leaving, Shawn cast a meaningful glance at Orum. Orum also looked back at him. Their gaze was electrifying. Shawn saw the murderous glint in Orum's eyes clearly earlier. What was going on? Who was the person Orum wanted to harm? Was it Ivy? Or was it Shawn himself? Regardless of who Orum wanted dead, Shawn would never let him succeed. Orum stood still, finally able to reveal his true self. His expression was full of ruthlessness. The most crucial step had been completed. Ivy was now his woman, and her heart had softened up to him. He would treat her well, so well that she would be intoxicated with happiness, swollen with joy, completely trapped in his emotional snare. By then, she would naturally be willing to do anything for him. However, he was still testing her. Did she really not overhear his conversation with Paul? Was she pretending, acting, or truly clueless? No rush. Acting could not last a lifetime. If Ivy truly had heard it, she would eventually slip up. In Temperley Hall, Nicole cried out, Mommy, Daddy, you're back! You're back very early today. Didn't you want to play a little longer? Mommy, did you see your crush? Gale was taken aback. She did go to see her crush, but she actually completely forgot about it. She was so focused on Orum and Ivy. What's wrong, Mommy? Weren't you going to attend the ceremony? You could have seen many, many stars. I know you have their pictures as your phone display photo. I just noticed that you changed it to a picture of me and brother recently. Shawn spoke with a hint of sarcasm. Really? Her phone's display used to be of other men? Nicole sensed something wrong and quickly interjected. Mommy was fickle-minded. It was this guy for a moment and that guy for another. It wasn't serious. But she only has one husband, which is you. Shawn's expression darkened. That many men? They're all her past. It's okay, Daddy. You're always here. You're her husband. No one can shake your position. Nicole answered. Shawn looked at Gale. You better explain this, she chuckled nervously. Celebrity crushes, you know. What girl doesn't have them? Male celebrities are so handsome, so tall, so charming. I was momentarily captivated by them. It's just human nature, Shawn smirked. Gale nervously chuckled. I'm just shallow when it comes to looks, loving one as soon as I see one. They're all just silly little fantasies, nothing serious. Gale took his arm. Only you have been by my side from beginning to end, accompanying me through this lifetime. Chapter 1946. You're quite the player, Gale, Shawn teased. Back in college, Summer and I were so obsessed with celebrities. We used to go to concerts and even meet and greet the stars at the airport. Now she was a wife and a mother, so she had dialed back to just looking at celebrities like eye candy. Truth be told, Shawn was as handsome as a male celebrity. However, seeing him every day could get a bit tiresome. She was secure in having Shawn, but the male celebrities were just out of reach. People liked what they could not have. You can also go to the airport now, greet the stars, following your imaginary boyfriend around the country, Shawn said. Gale immediately declined. No, I'm too old for that now. Honestly, she wanted to go, but she did not have the guts because she was afraid her husband would disapprove. She could not indulge that male celebrity-crazed side of her anymore. Good call. If Gale dared to go, he thought he would break her legs to stop her from going. On second thoughts, he would not bear to do that. Shawn did not even dare to raise his voice to her. She was so precious and he could not bear to see her even slightly aggrieved. Phone. Shawn suddenly held out his hand. Gale did not know what he was up to and handed him her phone. They both knew each other's passwords. There were no secrets between them. Shawn pressed around, then handed it back to her. She took it. feeling a bit uneasy. When she saw her phone again, she was speechless. You went too far with this. Gale rolled her eyes. Was that necessary? He actually changed her phone background to a photo of himself. Not only that, but he even changed the display of her messengers too. Shawn changed her profile picture to a photo of him. Hey, I can agree to almost anything you suggest, but changing my profile picture. Shawn, that's too much. Gale could not help but protest. It was her phone, not his. You don't like it? Shawn raised his eyebrows. Then let's change it to a photo of the two of us. Or, a family photo of the four of us. My profile picture is my decision. I want a photo of myself. Gale swapped the profile picture out with a glamorous photo of herself. Shawn instantly looked displeased. Was she trying to attract men with that kind of photo? With that photo, nobody would know she was married and pregnant. She looked like a single girl. He could not do anything about it. He could only compromise. Fine, change your profile picture, but can you change the one in your close friends circle to a picture of us? Okay, Gale agreed readily. She changed it to the painting Nicole had carefully drawn, the one where Joshua and Nicole stood in the middle, and she and Shawn stood on either side, holding the children's hands. Is this okay? She waved it in front of him. Shawn reluctantly nodded. In his own phone, he had put a photo of Gale, or of them both, or the kids. He never had a photo of himself up. Chapter 1947. His entire world revolved around his wife and kids. Joshua stood by, watching the drama unfold. Suddenly, he sighed, shaking his head repeatedly. Mommy, what does marriage really do to women? Gale glanced at him. Are you about to share some opinions again? Marriage ties you down. You have no freedom. Gale said nothing. She glanced at Shawn several times, then at Joshua, signaling him to be more careful with his words. Shawn was very sensitive. Joshua did not care at all. Look, in the past there were so many guys. Today you like this celebrity, tomorrow you like that other drama lead. You got bored, and immediately switched your targets. You could always pursue anyone you liked. Now? You only have Shawn. Tesk, you gave up a whole forest for a single tree. Nicole disagreed. She retorted, Joshua, according to your logic, Daddy also gave up a lot for Mommy. She was more inclined toward Dad's side. Every time her brother criticized Dad, Nicole would speak up for him. Nicole loved both her parents. Hearing his daughter so staunchly support him, Shawn felt immensely comforted. His daughter was truly doting on him. That's different. Mommy is the best, so it's Shawn's fortune to have her. As for Shawn, what does he have apart from his wealth? Joshua replied. Are you sure Dad only has money? Nothing else? Nicole asked. Tell the truth, Joshua. Your nose will grow if you lie, Nicole emphasized. Joshua felt guilty. He touched his own nose and shrugged. Shawn is rich and handsome. Of course not as handsome as Memi. You're Dad's son, you inherited his genes. If Dad isn't handsome, how could you be? I inherited some of Mommy's genes to become even more handsome. The two children debated vigorously. Joshua had always been like this. Nicole's ability to argue so effectively still surprised Shawn. Nicole seemed like such a submissive, quiet girl. But when she argued with Joshua, she was on par with him in thought and logic. Gale had raised both children very well. Just hearing Nicole's defense of him made Shawn's heart swell with pride. Nicole asked again, Yes, Daddy is rich and handsome, and what else? Joshua said. What else? Nicole replied, He's tall and muscular, he has so many good traits. Joshua ran out of rebuttals. He thought it was weird for Nicole to oppose him this way. All right, Joshua nodded. Then he is just barely compatible with our amazing Mommy. No, he doesn't. Daddy and Mommy are a perfect match, made for each other, equals in love and freedom. They are both excellent and perfect, so they are very compatible. Nicole raised her head proudly, her little mouth pouting. She just did not want to hear her brother say bad things about Daddy every time, so she wanted to challenge him. Nicole, you defended me. Having a daughter is the best. Shawn was incredibly pleased. Chapter 1948. He really could not find any reason to want a son. He thought that sons were meant for labor. A son would need to inherit the family business. Wood Group had thousands of employees under it. Managing it requires skill and ability. Having such heavy responsibilities was also exhausting, as the rise and fall of the company would befall one's shoulders. He was certain he did not want Nicole to bear this hardship. Being a woman at work was already hard as it is, so, in the future, Joshua will manage the company, diligently guarding this family business, while Nicole will be carefree, live like a princess, buying whatever she wants. Sons are for labor, daughters for enjoyment. Shawn felt appeased with his logic and could accept Joshua's continued presence. Gale was not sure if she should laugh or cry. Should I host a debate for both of you? Nicole shook her head. No thanks. I'm a sweet little princess. I need to keep up my beauty and grace. Joshua looked at her. Beauty? Grace? Are those words even related to you? Hey, Joshua! But seeing you think critically and debate me, I feel relieved. The world is dangerous. Men can be bad. If you stay rational and alert, you won't be deceived by them. Joshua's tone shifted. Shawn completely agreed with this statement. You also need to protect your sister. Look out for her, guard her, shield her from those unscrupulous men. Joshua, you're her brother. You'll be a man. Protecting women is your duty, understand? Shawn said. Joshua crossed his arms, looking impatiently cool. Of course I understand. I just hope she can be a bit more aware and keep her eyes open, so I don't have to constantly worry about her. Shawn lifted Nicole onto his lap. Nicole is beautiful and smart. Only an outstanding man will be worthy of my Nicole. Nicole's future partner would have to convince Shawn that he was worthy. Shawn, what you said isn't right. Joshua shook his head. 20 years from now, the most outstanding man in Sea City is MME. Shawn and Gale exchanged glances. He should be the second most outstanding man. Only then can he be worthy of my sister, Joshua added. Shawn and Gale did not want to respond. Nicole spoke up. As long as I like him, he'll be the most outstanding in my heart. She looked up at Shawn. Right, Daddy? Right. Shawn nodded. Wow. Joshua shrugged. I just praised your intelligence and now you're showing me your lovesick brain. Even if he's not that outstanding, you'll like him? Fine, just settle for less. Just as Nicole was about to say something, Gale intervened. All right, that's enough. Let's have some fruit. The living room was silent again. Mommy, did you take any pictures today? Show me. Nicole ate her fruit. No. Why, Mommy, what did you actually do today? Gale thought. Yeah, what did she do? I met some friends, and Uncle Orem too. I also saw my new friend, the lead actress of the movie. Uncle Orem? Nicole smiled. I haven't seen him in a long time. Does he have a girlfriend now? Chapter 1949. Yeah, he does. He just won today, Gale explained. Wow! Joshua and Nicole exclaimed. Who's Uncle Orem's girlfriend? Joshua was all curious. His face lit up. Is she pretty? Is she hot? Is she sweet? I've been keeping an eye out for Uncle Orem, but I never found someone who's good enough for him. Turns out he could take care of himself. Yeah, he found one himself. His girlfriend is actually my new friend, Gale confirmed. The lead actress, Ivy? Joshua asked, trying to recall. Gale nodded. Yep. Joshua's eyes lit up. It's Ivy! She's so beautiful. Nicole blinked. Joshua, do you know her? I've seen movies she acted in. Come on, let me show you, Joshua replied. Joshua skillfully searched for Ivy online and found her biodata. Given her fame, it was easy. Wow, she's really beautiful. She is fair, tall, slim, and she even has dimples when she smiles. Nicole praised. Right? Oh, she's perfect for him. Joshua was thrilled. Gale knocked on Joshua's head lightly. You're trying to be a matchmaker at such a young age? What does matchmaker mean? Is it like being a marriage agent? Joshua asked. Yeah, pretty much. I learned it from you, Joshua said innocently. Gale was left speechless. She was both annoyed and outwitted, so she could only pinch Shawn's hand. Look at your son. Shawn stopped her and rubbed himself. I'm finally at ease seeing him happy. Joshua nodded repeatedly. Natalie was so toxic and selfish. But now a beautiful angel has descended upon Uncle Orem. Shawn listened quietly, never saying a word. Orem had a lot of goodwill with Gale, Joshua, and Nicole. After all, during those 4 years in the small town, Orem had always been there for them, lending a helping hand and being extremely considerate to them. Orem's image in their childhood was of a noble savior, and he felt as close as family. Back then, Orem was indeed selflessly devoted and genuine. People change. Orem now was completely different from his past self. When all the things Orem did were revealed, Gale and the children would find it hard to swallow. Their kind, gentle, and gentlemanly Uncle Orem in their eyes would suddenly become a demon. Shawn? Joshua waved his hand in front of Shawn's eyes. What are you thinking about? You're so serious. Shawn glanced over. Huh? What? Nothing, I was saying. Now that you're no longer rivaling Uncle Orem for Mommy's hand, can't you relax even more? Joshua teased. You can think of it that way. Chapter 1950. Even though there is nobody else fighting for Mommy's hand now, you still have to treat her well. In fact, treat her better every day. Don't slack off and mistreat her. Shawn smiled. All right. Little did Joshua know that Orem was still Shawn's biggest rival. Daddy, have some strawberries too. Nicole picked up the biggest, reddest one and handed it to him. It's very sweet. Thank you, Nicole. The juice of the sweet strawberry slid down his throat, but Shawn felt a sudden itch in his throat. He could not help but cough. This cough lasted for a while before he could catch his breath and stop. Why are you coughing again? Didn't you quit smoking? Gale asked with concern. She was supervising him too. During this period, Shawn indeed had not smoked again. There were no cigarettes in the office or at home. I just choked a bit. It's nothing, Shawn replied. Gale frowned. You're not a child, choking on a piece of fruit? Yeah, take it slow, no one's competing with you. You can have all of them. After all, you technically bought them. Joshua chimed in. Nicole picked up a glass of water. Daddy, have a sip. Gale remembered something. Oh right. Did you go to the hospital for a checkup last time? Did you have a scan of your lungs? I did. The results came out. Everything's all right? Shawn chuckled softly. Of course I'm fine, Gale. I'm very healthy and can be with you for a long time. He knew his physical condition very well. He had a regular medical checkup every year, and the results were always healthy. Moreover, Shawn would not allow himself to have any health problems. He had to be with Gale, grow old together, and live to see their children grow up. To achieve all these, he needed a healthy and strong body. In the past, Shawn did not care much, thinking that life and death were a matter of fate. Now, he was tied to them. If something happened to him, what would Gale do? How could he bear to leave her alone in this world? He had to live well so he could protect her. Shawn, you must take care of yourself, don't smoke, drink less, avoid staying up late, and tell me if there's anything of concern. We are husband and wife. Gale looked at him. I hope that our relationship will be genuine, forthcoming, and loving. Of course. He ruffled her hair. Don't overthink things. Gale, you too, your health comes first. We want to see our children grow up together and get married. Yeah. Seeing Gale's smiling face, Shawn's throat itchiness eased a little. He took another sip of water. Last time, at Gale's strong insistence, he specifically went to the hospital for a comprehensive throat and lung examination. Everything was fine, so Shawn was reassured. It was normal for someone who smoked regularly to cough occasionally. The TV screen blared while Gale sat beside him. The kids played. It was the image of a picture-perfect family. However, Shawn felt his throat itching again. He coughed lightly a couple of times, trying to suppress it, not wanting to cough too frequently and make Gale worry. However, the more he suppressed it, the more he wanted to cough. His throat became uncomfortable. There was no other way. Shawn had to get up. I'll go to the bathroom. Gale nodded.